Hi there, I'm Naomi from Wonkie Art. I'm just removing some barbs from barbed wire to go into the sculpture that we'll be creating as a community that's going on display at the end of August. Today's adventure is about repurposed art. So we're taking some wrapping paper and making paper beads, which is in another video. We're using those beads in this one, so you can follow that one to create the paper beads. We are using repurposed wool and repurposed beads. You can get those from your op shop, or you can just use what you've got around the house. You can use whatever you've got that might work. Just making some little worms and some puppets. You can also make pom-poms out of your wool to make little heads and do a pom-pom tree. They're fun. There's a whole heap of different things you can do with pom-poms as well. So this is just to spark your creativity and get you started. Alright, well have fun and I'll see you next time.
Once you have decided on your bead selection, lay them out in order to determine the length of your worm. You want to have a different bead for the head. Measure out your thread. You will need 3 lengths of your worm plus 2 lengths for the string, probably around 30 centimeters for each of those, and additional string for tying off and securing your worm. Using a needle, thread your beads onto the invisible thread. I started from the end and went through to the head, leaving the length for the string plus extra to tie off out the tail end. When you get to the last bead, loop through it and then go back into the second last bead to secure that bead, and then thread all the way through to the end of your worm. Pull the beads tight when you reach the end. Loop around the last bead and into the second last bead as before, and then pass the thread back through your worm again, making sure it's all tight. You should now have a length of thread at each end of your worm. We're going to leave the end coming out of the head end for attachment to the stick. At the tail end, we're going to rethread our needle, skip the last bead to secure the thread, pass it through the beads about 2/3 of the way down your worm and bring the thread out. So we now should have thread coming out of the worm's back. We're going to loop that thread around the worm and pass the needle through that loop to make a knot. We're now going to secure our worm to our stick. So we want the front end of our worm to be secured at one end of the stick and the tail end to be secured at the other. You want the stick to be about the same length as the distance of your worm, but allow your worm to have a curve in its body. We also want the length of the string from the stick to the head and the stick to the back of the body to be about the same. You can attach googly eyes to your worm if you wish. You can create worms using anything you have, from paper beads to repurpose beads. Just line them up how you like, measure the lengths and thread them onto your wool or thread or other string. With the wool and other string, you might want to knot the end and make it look pretty to create a tail. You can make your own pom-pom, and you can use the pom-poms as the head, just using the pom-pom thread to thread into the worm and secure to the worm. To finish your creation, you can attach googly eyes. I found the best way to attach googly eyes is with glue. Just obviously be careful while using a hot glue gun, because they are hot. You can create different varieties of worms using pipe cleaners, pom-poms from the dollar shop, whatever you have around that might be suitable. For example, you could use buttons or gum nuts for eyes. Creativity is limited by confidence. Confidence to experiment, confidence to try different things and explore. See where it takes you. Happy art making, and I'll see you in the next video, which will be repurposed art using things found around the home or from the dollar shop or junk or rubbish from the beach. Whatever you want.